Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. We're here at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and I want to try out this, the Replicade Street Fighter cabinet. Now, they've had quite a few, and there's actually several of them at the show. We got a Tempest, a 1942. There's even a very cool little machine that looks like a change unit that you can actually use as a recharger for this. You can daisy chain some of these together. Kind of on the fence about this. There's been a lot of reviews about it. What I'm curious about is, what are the controls like? Now, this is currently set up to play with 2 players. You can hook it up or disconnect the secondary player controller so you can just play on your own. I just want to get a feel of what the buttons are like, so I'm going to I'm going to put in a quarter, and I'm going to press 1 player, and let's see what we get. So, oops, of course, chun-li. And let's see. Oh, chun-li versus chun-li. This will be a nice challenge here. Unfortunately, the volume's down very low, which is unfortunate, but you know what? We've got a very loud environment here, so it's understandable. Come on. Part of the reason I always play Chun-Li is I never want to take her on as the AI, and now I'm doing that, so there we go. Yeah, the buttons feel pretty good, actually. You would think in such a small form factor that there would be a little bit... Ooh, spinning bird kick. You'd figure it would be a little bit rough and hard to control, but actually it works very well. I'm very impressed. The screen is gorgeous. It's probably not coming out on the camera here, but this looks really nice. It's very sharp, colors are very vibrant, and just a nice little unit overall. So that is the Replicade Street Fighter Champion machine.
Wait, hold it. So I checked online for some discussion about this Street Fighter cabinet, and I stumbled across a video by OverThink Gaming, and it's really interesting because this is something I hadn't really noticed. The fellow on there talks about don't get this cabinet because it's done a bait and switch. I'll put a link down below to his video, but what's worth noting is he's a big Street Fighter aficionado, and he says the makers of this Replicade arcade cabinet actually did a little swapperoonie. They originally had the Street Fighter cabinet with the proper aspect ratio on the TV that's or the monitor that's in the little cabinet there. And they even he shows footage from an IGN preview model where the screen was the proper 4:3 relationship. But what has happened is, as he points out, the one that I was playing is ever so slightly a wider screen monitor. And he says that's it. He's not really happy about that. Everything else he really likes about it, much like myself, but he says don't buy it because it does not have the proper aspect ratio screen. It's a widescreen. I honestly, until I saw that video, I honestly hadn't even noticed that myself. Like, I was sitting there playing it on the show floor, really enjoying it. And then after watching him talk about it, I thought, what? And I checked back. Yeah, it is actually a very, very slightly widescreen monitor. Not to the point where I even noticed that. So I think if you're a really strong Street Fighter fan and you want the proper official aspect ratio design and look, then as per his recommendation, I would also say maybe don't get this cabinet. But I didn't even notice it, and outside of that one flaw, everything else on this machine is really, really good. The controls, which is the important thing, are absolutely fantastic. And the screen, although I guess ever so slightly wide, I didn't notice that the characters look particularly stretched out or pudgy looking, so it's not that big of a deal. And the screen outside of that particular element is really sharp, really nice colors, looks great. So I would say check out OverThink Gaming below and decide for yourself. I would personally say, unless you are a real picky collector and you want to have your Street Fighter cabinet look precisely like it looked originally, then, and it won't because it's only got one control panel on it. Honestly, outside of that, I do think it's a really good cabinet. Anyway, back to my conclusion.
I gotta say, I'm kind of tempted, but we'll see. There's another one that's not out yet, the Asteroids machine. If that one controls as nicely as this one does, We might have a winner. And then I'll just get a couple of them and maybe daisy chain them together with that little USB charging change machine. We'll see. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.